It is Miss Elaine again. I am here at the Firehouse Art Center, and I am not usually in this room, but this is our south gallery, and it is the back gallery where our artist in residence, Barbara Redloff, is painting right now. So she's actually not here, so I am usurping her studio space for the day just to do our virtual class. And after the class I might do a little walk around because the paintings that she has on the wall are fantastic and amazing and need to be shared. So I will share them at the end so you guys can see. Barbara is our artist in residence for the summer residency. We actually have a call for artists open now, so if you know any artists that would like to apply, definitely send them our way. But we are here today for our lesson, and it is a drawing and painting class. Hi Julie, hi Joshua, and we are going to be learning a little bit about color wheels. And I just printed out a color wheel on the printer, and I am going to go grab it when you guys grab your supplies. I'm about to sneeze, so excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, so today is, we are doing a rainy, sunny week. So today is going to be the rainy class. We have our person here underneath the color wheel umbrella in the rain. The techniques that we are demonstrating here, of course, is color theory because we're doing the color wheel, as well as we are going to be using crayons or oil pastels with watercolor for a resist. And we can also do a little bit of playing around with warm colors and cool colors as well. So we're going to do a lot of learning in this one drawing. As far as supplies, I'm going to go through the list of supplies first, and then I'm going to go grab my color wheel off the printer while you guys grab any supplies you might need. And actually, the supplies that you might need are, because this was not on the list, it's something to make a circle shape. So I have this big gigantic roll of duct tape. If you have a bowl that you can turn over and trace the rim of the bowl, you can do that. So that was one supply that I did not have listed. So you might have to go grab that. But as far as supplies, you're gonna need paper. So a white piece of paper. I used a thicker piece of paper. This is multimedia paper that you know, it's a little bit thicker and works better with watercolor, but if you have printer paper, that will work as well. It might buckle with the added water from the watercolor, but if that happens, you can always just iron out the paper and it'll go back to flat after it's dry. So, yes, so paper, you're gonna need markers, or if you want to use crayons, you can use crayons and colored pencils as well. So really coloring tools that you want, whatever you would like. You're going to need a palette and watercolor and a brush. So I am in the back room and there's a whole bunch of supplies. Like, I love it. But you know, I have these brushes, I have the smaller brushes. These ones are kind of more like for acrylic paint. So make sure you have a brush that is better for watercolor. So it's going to be softer. These ones, the bristles are a little bit harder. So they're less absorbent for watercolor. So you want to use the correct tools. So hi Jessie. So yes, I'm going to go grab my color wheel. You guys go grab all the supplies that you need. And I will be back in just 1 second. I am back. So usually when I'm at home in my art studio, or which is also known as my bedroom, the printer is right next to the computer, so it's really easy to grab stuff. But here at the Firehouse, the printer is far away from South Gallery. But here we are. This is the color wheel I'm going to use today. We're not going to put all of these colors unless you want to. Now you can take this project as far as you want, because obviously when you look at this color wheel, we have our primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. We have our secondary colors, which mix, so obviously there's purple, which is secondary from red and blue. There's orange, which you get mixing red and yellow. And there's green, which you get mixing yellow and blue. So those are the primary colors: red, blue, yellow. Secondary, violet or purple, green, and orange. And then you also can get even further into intermediate or tertiary colors. Now, this one right here, I split it up so that we could do it easily in half and quarters and kind of do it like fractions of a pie. This one is a little bit harder to draw, so it's up to you how far you want to go with it. So if you wanted to get into the blue violet, the red violet, blue green, yellow orange, red orange, that's totally up to you. You would have to split your circle into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pie pieces, which is easy enough. You would do 6 on one side and 6 on the other side. But we are just going to do 4 on one side and 4 on the other side, just for the wide age range that we have in these classes. We never know what age range the kiddos are, what you guys have learned in school, so we want to make sure that you can do this project, or if you're a little bit older, you can take your umbrella and split it up into as many as these. So just wanted to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 6 on each side. Awesome. Well, we can get started. I am actually going to turn my screen down so you can see my workspace. As far as watercolors, you can use pan watercolors. Of course, I have my favorite liquid watercolors to use for today. And I'm turning it down right now, and you can see my workspace. As you can see, this is one of our art tables. So I don't need a covering on this table because it is already covered in paint, so I don't need to worry so much. So we are going to, I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see it. And just want to make sure that you guys can see the whole thing. Awesome. And you can see the whole thing of this. Great. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take our circle shape and we are going to put it on the upper half of our paper. So we don't want it too low because then we won't have space for our person. We don't want it too high because then we'll have too much space for our person and we won't have enough space for the sky and the rain. So we want it probably around there. So on the upper half, and we're going to take our pencil, and all you're going to do is you're going to trace the edge and trace lightly. We're going to color over it, so it's okay if you do it a little bit hard, and you can always erase it if you want. Okay, so that is our umbrella. Now, I said that we were going to split it in half, and if you wanted to use a ruler, you can, but you don't have to use a ruler. You can use any kind of straight edge that you have, that's a piece of paper, or anything that you have available, or if you wanted to be more precise and you wanted to measure it out, you can use a ruler. I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to use the stick of my brush because I like being able to use the tools that I have around me. And I want you guys to eyeball half and half. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect unless you want to turn this into a math lesson. But we're just going to go ahead and eyeball half and half and do a line going straight up and down, just like that. Okay? You guys see that? Awesome. Now we are going to split the circle halfway this way. So this is going to be the bottom half and this is the top half. This was the left half and the right half. But now we're going to split it halfway, top half and bottom half. Okay. So now if you look, I have separated my circle. If you imagine it to be a pizza pie, into 4 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I have separated my pizza into fourths. Okay, now we're going to take it a little bit further. We're going to go and make a line now going through this dot at the center. So make sure it goes through the center. We're going to split it once going this way. So now I've split these pieces in half. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. But these guys are smaller. So if you were going to be passing around pizza to your friends, the ones that could eat a lot more would get these pieces. And the ones that weren't as hungry might get these pieces. They're a little bit smaller. But we're going to fix that and make it equal for everyone by drawing a line. Oops. And sometimes you make mistakes, and that's okay. And we're going to draw a line like that. Okay, so I'm going to move it closer so you guys can see. This is my pizza. And I have it separated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or, if you look, there's 4 pieces on this side and 4 pieces on that side, right? So it's half and half. But now I have separated my pizza into eighths. And we are going to work on coloring these. So go ahead and get your markers. And you want to find your red marker. And we are going to pretty much follow the placement of these colors just so we don't get off track. I am going to put this, where should I put this? I'm going to put this right here so you guys can see it, just in case. So if you were using the all of these colors and wanted to do all of these colors, we did this line, that line, and then we split it again. So right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It would be 6 pieces on one side and 6 pieces on the other side. A little bit different than this. If you want to take it that far, you can. I would recommend that for the older kids though. So you are going to color this pizza slice red, okay? So red is one of our primary colors. And you can see I'm coloring very precisely because I want to stay in the lines. And that is my red pizza slice. Now I am going to find my orange marker and I'm going to color in my orange color right here. Now, if you were going to take 2 colors and mix them together to get orange, those would be 2 primary colors, and it would be red and yellow. So I'm going to find my yellow marker, and I'm just going to test it because some of my yellow markers actually have a green cast to them. So this is red and yellow make orange. Now, if you are using crayons, that's totally fine. I have markers. If you want to use colored pencils, you can use those too. And let's see. So what are liquid watercolors? Ooh, liquid watercolors are one of my favorite art supplies. So liquid watercolors are very concentrated watercolors that are already mixed and in a liquid form. So if you look, I'm going to show them right here. So this is from Blick, and I think the website is dickblick.com or Blick Arts. I can't remember now, but anyway, the company name is Blick, liquid watercolors. It says Brilliant, intense, single stroke color, and these are way more concentrated than any other watercolors that I've ever used. It says they can be used straight or diluted with water. For this project, I am going to dilute it with water because it is so intense. And when you hear watercolor, you usually think that it washes out really easily. This is some of the most like staining stuff on hands. Obviously it comes off after a while, but it is remarkable how much color can remain on your hands when you use it. I always recommend to like quickly spray it with any kind of spray treatment if you get it on your clothing, because it's very intense, which is great for artwork, but probably not so great for clothing. So we got red, orange, and yellow. And next we are going to do green. So find your green marker, crayon, or colored pencil, whichever one you want to use, and go ahead and color your next pie slice green. So with circles, they are great to use for math lessons. If you wanted to, you could always measure the circumference and the diameter. So diameter, circumference. You could measure the arc length of each of these pie slices. So if you are a little bit older and you were working with higher level math and geometry, you can definitely take this lesson even further than just breaking it up into all of its colors for color theory. Okay, next we're going to do a bluish green right here. So find a blue green. You might need to test your colors, but sometimes people call it turquoise or aquamarine. Colors like that would be like a blue green. So whatever coloring utensils you're using, whatever tools you're using, crayons, markers, colored pencils, you could even use paint if you wanted to. So that's a blue-green. The next color we're going to do is blue, because we have this blue-green and then a green, but to make green, you mix yellow, which is a primary color, and blue. So this one's my blue. And sometimes you may run into like your marker set or your crayon set doesn't have the right color, so you might have to mix it by putting two markers, like using two markers or two crayons. That's totally fine. So that's blue. And the next one we're going to do is purple. So I have another marker set right here, so it's a little bit thinner. And I'm going to find my purple. So right now we have red plus yellow makes orange, yellow plus blue makes green, but once you get more blue in it, this is a bluish green color, and then we're going to do a purple right here. I'm going to color it in. Purple is actually one of my favorite colors. And it is actually the color for royalty. And the reason it's the color for royalty is, as far as a natural pigment, purple is a very difficult color to achieve. So when they were making colors without using chemicals and just were using natural elements to make the color, it was either very expensive or very difficult to dye fabric a purple color, and then that was why it was a color that was reserved for royalty, or kings and queens and princes and princesses. So that is why when you see some of the historical paintings, you will see royalty dressed in purple. But now it's really easy. You just mix it up and you have purple. But the way you get purple is mixing blue and red. Now, we have this dark purple right here. Now we're gonna mix a lighter reddish purple. So if you were to look, these are my two markers. So you see how it's a little bit lighter? And I might actually have to do another purple on top of this because I recall that this purple was getting very light. So I'm gonna find my other purple to do a layer first. So that's my first layer, and then I'm going to come back with this one, which was drying out a little bit, but it'll give it more of a reddish, purplish look. So keep coloring, then you end up with your full color wheel umbrella. So now I'm going to take my black marker or crayon, whichever one you want to use. I guess I'll use crayon actually because it's right here. This is one of my Mr. Sketchy crayons, and I'm just going to do a line around each of my pie pieces. So you choose whether you want to use marker or crayon. And trace the outer edge of your circle. And you are done with the umbrella or the color wheel. So right now it just looks like a color wheel, but we are going to turn it into a person with a coat and legs and boots. So go ahead and grab your pencil again. You could do this straight with marker or crayon if you wanted to, but I wanted you to watch first. And I'm going to show you guys how to draw your person with a raincoat underneath your umbrella. So I want you to look at this piece right here and my sample, and I am drawing a shape with my finger, and it is a rectangle shape. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to do the same thing. Draw a rectangle with our finger, and then we're going to do it with our pencil. So that is the bottom of my person's raincoat, and you're assuming that the person is right here holding the umbrella. Okay, now I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3 lines straight down. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, straight down like that. Now I'm going to draw a line here. This is the top of one of my boots, and this is the top of another of my boots. Then you're going to draw, it looks like a C on its side. So 2 C's on its side, just like that. And go ahead and, if you want, you can use your marker or your crayon, but make sure it's a permanent marker because we are going to go over some of this area with watercolor. Okay, so I'm tracing the edge with my crayon. And this is going to be my raincoat. These are my pants or leggings, and these are my boots. Now, this one right here is standing in a puddle. Now, I used shapes for this. This is a geometric shape of a circle, geometric shape rectangles, and then I did lines. We're going to use an organic shape right here underneath, and it's going to be like a puddle of water that she is standing in, or he. But it's going to be, and Organic shapes can be any shape, so you can see it looks a little different than this one, but it doesn't have any kind of geometric shape about it. So it's just organic, however you want to do it. Now here is where we get into our warm colors and our cool colors. For the raincoat and the person, we're going to use our warm colors. For the rain puddle underneath, we're going to use our cool colors. So warm colors are right here, cool colors are right here. So I am going to give her, just like this one, a yellow raincoat, and those are my warm colors, yellow, think about sun, and maybe even flames or anything that keeps you warm. This one is orange, and I'm going to give myself orange pants or leggings, whatever they want to be. And I actually have red rain boots, so I chose red for my boots. But these are my warm colors, and I wanted my person to be wearing warm colors so they could stay warm in the rain. So yellow, orange, and red. Now, for my cool colors, I've got green, blue, or green, aqua, blue, and purple. So I'm going to pull out those colors. So I've got my aqua, my purple, my green, and my blue. And I am just going to draw little shapes in the water. So if you've ever seen rain hit water, it makes like these little circles. So I'm just going to do little curly cues with my cool colors. So my blue, my green, and my purple, so when you think of cool colors, you might think of the night sky or water or cool grass. And then my last color is aqua, and I'm actually just going to, and you can actually just do this with any of the colors, but choose your lightest color for the pool. Aqua is my lightest cool color that I have. So I'm going to color over all of the water. So warm colors for my person, cool colors for the rain. And that is done. Okay, so now I am done with my person, but now I need to finish it up by grabbing a white crayon or oil pastel, whichever one you have, and I am going to draw the raindrops coming down. Now if you look, they basically look like little lines. But first I want to draw the horizon, which is where the ground meets the sky. And you can find any place, like if you want to do it a little bit above the bottom of the raincoat. So you might not be able to see it. I'm going to hold it close to this camera so that maybe you can see where my crayon mark is. But it's right there. So sometimes you can see it when the light hits it. But since it's white on white, it's very hard to see. And then we're going to make little lines coming down for the rain. And I really love how white, you might not be able to see it now, but when we paint over it with the blue, you will be able to see it. So I always recommend to do lots of raindrops for this project, because it's really cool when you paint over it with the blue and then you can see all the white that you drew that you maybe couldn't see before you painted over it. Okay, so I did all of my white raindrops. Now I'm just going to do little scribbles for puddles of water with my white crayon. And I'm going to show you on the sample just in case you can't see. So I'm doing these guys. And if you wanted to draw little curly cues on the ground, you can do that too. Okay, so now we are ready to paint. I think I have finished everything. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to put a little bit of my liquid watercolor right there in the palette. And I'm going to go to the sink and put a little bit of water in this one right here. Okay, so now I have a palette space filled with water and then one filled with just straight paint. So I want to show you actually, this is what the liquid watercolor looks like straight. So you can see it's very intense. Let me hold it up close, but we are going to water it down a little. So I'm adding water to it, and you can see it gets a little bit lighter the more water you add. So I think that with the resist, what that means is the crayon that we use to draw the white parts is resisting the watercolor. I find that the watercolor resist works better when the watercolor is not so intense. So go ahead and paint your whole background. And when you get close to the person's raincoat, just be careful. You don't want to paint over it. If you end up painting the blue over the yellow raincoat, you're going to get a different color, and that is going to be green, because blue plus yellow makes green, which we just learned on our color wheel. So keep painting. And you'll see my white raindrops are starting to appear. And hopefully yours are too. Just checking the messages and seeing. So I hope you guys really like, this is like one of my favorite projects where we paint over crayon or oil pastel. There are so many different ways that you can use this technique, so I really love it, especially with the white, because sometimes it's hard to see the white when you draw white on white paper, and it kind of just feels a little bit like magic when you paint over it and then you see the design. It's like secret writing, I guess. So I guess if you were like a spy, you could write with white crayon, and then the person would have to paint over it to see what you wrote. So keep painting your blue rain coming down. And luckily this person has their warm colored raincoat on, or else they would be really cold. So we actually went camping this weekend in the mountains, and it was really rainy. So I got cold a lot, but I did have a raincoat, so I was able to stay dry for most of it. Okay, so let's see. Oh, now you're starting to see where I drew those white scribbles down at the bottom. So you see right there? You're starting to see, and here are my little curly cues. So it's kind of like magic. But the technique is called resist. Resist technique. Okay, so I am almost done. I have blue all over here. Now, as you can see, my liquid watercolor, I didn't even use that much of it. I didn't even need that much, and I might have to pour that back into the bottle. It's very concentrated, and you don't need a lot for your projects. So, ta-da! And this is my color wheel umbrella and rainy day. So if you wanted to, you could, I think I'm pretty much done, except for maybe I'll put a little bit more blue here. So just kind of look and see what your painting needs at the end. That's what every good artist does. You know, once you get done, take a step back, look at your artwork and see what you can do to make it a little better. Do you need to add some more color around the edges? Oops, oh, but there you go. See, that's where the blue mixes with the yellow and turns green. Okay, cool. Well, that is it for today. I'm going to turn this screen up. And so, don't hold your piece up. I'm going to hold my piece up because I know that it's not going to drip too badly. But if you lifted your piece, you might have some like water puddles that might drip. But this is what I have today. So here is my color wheel. We've got our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. We've got our secondary colors, which are orange, green, and purple or violet. And we've got a couple of, two tertiary colors. So this is kind of like a red violet, and this is a blue green. So we use geometric shapes. We use the shape of a circle. We use the geometric shape of a rectangle here. It's actually kind of going towards a square shape because it seems kind of even. So squares are, the same length on each side, and rectangles have two sides that are a little bit longer. And then we did 3 lines for the legs, and this is, we did warm colors for the person, so yellow, orange, and red. Then we did an organic shape for the water, so very curvy, no defining characteristics, and used cool colors down at the bottom. We drew all over the drawing with our white crayon. We made the raindrops and the puddles, and then we painted over it with blue watercolor. So that is our class for today. Our next class is going to be as for the curly cues. So I don't know if you've already done this, Joshua, but the curly cues are down here at the bottom. And it's basically just the rain falling, and if you look at rain when it hits a puddle, it always makes like those little circle shapes. So the curly cues are just for that. So it's the curly cues in the water, and then you could use your white crayon to make the curly cues at the bottom as well. So, and then for Thursday, we are going to be doing a multimedia weaving project. So basically we're going to take a white piece of paper and then cut lines straight down through it, and you might need an adult's help for the beginning part of next week's class. So we're going to weave red paper up and down through a white piece of paper, and then we're going to take our fingerprints and we're going to put our fingerprints in black ink and or black paint, acrylic or tempera, and we're going to make fingerprints on the paper, and that's going to be ants. So it's going to be ants visiting our summer picnic. If you want to, you can do the optional part of taking a white paper plate and different colored construction paper and putting food on your plate, and the ants can try and steal your food from your summer picnic. But that is on Thursday, so you'll need white paper, red paper, black paint, and if that's, that's the portion that you want to do, just the picnic blanket and the ants, that's all you'll need. The optional part is adding on paper of different colors. So if you were thinking of making a watermelon, you would get red paper and green paper and then black paper for the seeds. And then also a paper plate and glue. And then you can glue that onto the picnic blanket. But I will post I guess I'll post prep for the paper, just in case you wanted to prepare your white piece of paper first. And I can post that on the event page for the color wheel umbrella and also for the picnic blanket weaving. So, but that's it for today. Come back Thursday for our next class, the Sunny Picnic Blanket, and hopefully I will see you then. Just to let you know, Summer on the Streets is continuing again this weekend. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be an evening art market. There are going to be musicians playing, and it's just going to be a fun time just experiencing art and music on Main Street in Longmont. The booths are all distanced far away, so that it's very easy to social distance. Everyone is wearing masks, and you know, we're trying to be safe for the community, but still offer an opportunity to meet with artists and experience art and culture in Longmont. So hopefully I will see you at the gallery. This week we are opening up a new exhibit on Thursday, so hopefully I'll see you either at the gallery or at Summer on the Streets, and if not, hopefully I will see you Thursday for the next class, and then Tuesday for a whole new theme, which I will post on Sunday. So thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, definitely post in the comments and I will get to them. If you have finished your artwork and you want to share it, post it in the event page, or you can email it to me at info@firehouseart.org. I don't think that you can comment with photo comments on this event, on this video. So, but definitely share it with me on the event page, or sharing it by email to info@firehouseart.org. And I will see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.